Today's subject that I'm going to talk about a little bit is meditation, self-talk, and abiding in presence. These are questions and issues that affected me during this journey of mine. And meditation is not a thing, and is not limited to being in an ashram or in a quiet corner or sitting on a cushion. Meditation is not even meditation. Meditation, in a sense, is simply paying attention, noticing. And I've developed a meditation practice, a daily meditation practice, and it can happen at any given time of the day. And you can do meditation, pay attention, with any activity or inactivity. I start sitting in the chair and I relax. And I use self-talk as part of this relaxing process. Self-talk is that commentary that goes on in our head, which we often call thinking or daydreaming, planning, contemplating, reflecting, but it's all self-talk. It's these vocal cords, minimal, minute muscular actions, and I am talking to myself here. I'm thinking about, self-talking about what it is I'm going to say in front of the camera. So when I, quote, go into a meditation practice, I sit and I start talking about relaxing the top of my head, relaxing, physically relaxing my forehead, relaxing the eyeballs in my eye socket, relaxing the cheeks, relaxing the jaw. Paying attention to the breath. And with each exhalation, I allow the body to relax. Relax the jaw, relax the neck with each exhalation. Sink deeper and deeper into embodied awareness. Relax the hamstrings, relax the shins, relax the feet. And as you get into this embodied awareness, I am aware of sensations in the body, colors behind my eyelids, swirling colors, moving dots, pixelated images behind my eyelids. And I just notice all of this. I notice the sensations. I notice the sounds. And that noticing is a form of listening. And one listens to self-talk, even though that talk is not spoken out loud. One can still hear self-talk. And it is through self-talk that we orient ourselves, that I orient myself in the world. I'm in the dining room. The living room is behind me. I'm living in Cortez, Florida. I'm retired. All the little stories, the narrations, the stories of me that orient me in time and space come about through self-talk, through this inner commentary. And it is this inner commentary that controls and filters our perception. Our perceptions are created through the five senses and the interpretation of the thinking mind. Interpreting that sense data, interpreting what I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I feel, what I smell. I'm going to inhabit a perceptual reality created and maintained by my self-talk. So it is important, I think, for me, for any of us, to learn what kind of self-talk we use with ourselves. What is the nature of that thinking mind? And one of the initial things one finds that I experienced in my early meditation practices in following the breath was how often I was distracted by that self-talk. What am I doing by the count of one? Inhale, exhale is one count. One. Two. Three. And the instruction was to count to 10 this way and repeat and repeat and repeat, always maintaining attention and notice on the breath. And if one got distracted by a thought that my knee is aching, come back to the breath. I've got something to do later today, come back to the breath. Is it 15 minutes already? Come back to the breath. Always come back to the breath. I can choose not to talk out loud. I can choose to not speak out loud. And speaking out loud and self-talk are very similar activities. If I can choose to stop talking out loud, what a surprise it was to learn I can choose not to do the self-talk, the internal self-talk. And I found I can do that for seconds at a time, and with practice, minutes at a time. And it is when there is no self-talk that there is the opening that is abiding in presence, abiding in consciousness. And abiding in consciousness in this human form is to be intimately abiding with the five senses and a silent mind. And I can silence the mind by choosing not to do self-talk for moments at a time. And I needed to familiarize myself, not with the language that I was reading about, abiding in consciousness, but the embodied sensation of what it is to abide in consciousness. Choosing not to do self-talk is creating a gap, but gaps happen when you are absorbed in music, absorbed in a hot bath, absorbed in an activity, and mind quiets by itself because of the attention on the activity, paying attention, choosing not to listen to the self-talk. And that choice leads one into abiding in presence. And what abiding in presence does, it brings you more completely into the present moment, the only time there is. And this is the only time one can do anything about anything, is in the present moment. And abiding in presence does not equate with abiding in equanimity, though it can feel like that at times. Does not equate with being in bliss, though it can feel like that at times. It simply makes you present, allows me to be present with whatever is. And if that presence is bodily pain, then I am present with that bodily pain. If that present is having a confused mind, a conflicted mind about doing this or doing that, then that is what I am present with. And in this abiding in presence, I see the truth of impermanence, how everything in form changes, never stays the same. It's always ever changing. There is no point to any of this other than itself. You create and find whatever purpose you think you need in your life to do whatever you think you need to do. To be however you think you need to be. But ultimately, it's always here. Presence and reality, actuality, is always here. It's never anything other than what it is. And you are never ever anywhere else than where you are. And I am never ever anything other than what I am. You can take this apparent stillness, the not listening to self-talk, or choosing not to do self-talk, with you wherever. For a walk, on a bicycle ride, making the bed, vacuuming, shopping, driving, being with somebody, being alone. And then something happens, a noise, someone directs their attention to you, a conversation, and self-talk is activated. And momentarily, you're back in the mind and out of the moment. The body remains in the moment. The body is the anchor to the present moment, and noticing the breath is the doorway to the present moment. Mindfully being aware of the breath brings you back to now, where the body has never left. Only the mind has gone on its wanderings, its musings, its planning, its anticipating, its remembering. And then you come back, because you never left. And don't be surprised there are no fireworks with this kind of glimpses and this kind of abiding in presence, these little moments of awakening. Forget for a moment the stories you read. I had to forget for a moment the stories I read about how it is supposed to be when one is awakened. You notice the breath when you're doing breathing meditation. You notice the dishes when you're washing them. You notice the sheets and the bed coverings when you're making the bed. You notice the sidewalk or the grass and the shoes you're wearing when you're walking. You notice the handlebars when you're riding a bicycle, or the steering wheel when you're driving a car. Noticing. That's awareness, is noticing. Welcome to the journey.